Okay, you were just gonna get right into it.
Yeah, man. I miss you, bro. How you been?
I've been great.
Finance
I've been
King.
real great,
Yo,
man. What's
bro.
up?
You been busy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Past
On what?
SIE.
Oh
Congratulations.
yeah. So I'm in the officially in the finance now, and I did my U4. U4, if y'all don't know, is that's when you send your life over to the SEC,
And they
and
check
and,
everything.
and they check everything. Yeah.
I hated doing my
So
U4.
I actually just got some pushback. They were talking about dinner club, and they was asking me like, "You still run dinner club?" Is
How did they
yada
even
yada.
find out about Dinner Club?
I don't know, but they asked me, and I was like, "Nah, it's still I shut it down. Pretty much sold my stake in the restaurants and everything." And then she was like, "Yeah, I just checked, and the EIN is still active, or the LLC is still active." And I was like, "Yeah, I paid for the year. Like, I'm good." And she was like, "Yeah, you gotta report that."
Yeah. When I did my U4, when I was with that company that I don't talk about, I I had to tell my JFL like what I do with JFL and like all the real estate stuff I
Yeah,
do. And I was like, I don't want to tell y'all
yeah.
about
This is
none of this stuff. Like,
this is crazy. I didn't know they was really gonna get this deep into it, but
I
you know,
mean, hey, let me ask you this, right?
yes, I will be checking too.
Yeah.
That I asked myself,
Like,
if you had the ability, if you overseeing people that had the ability to make hundreds of billions of dollars in a day, would you be checking?
you
Yes, I
or
would.
or would you check people that like are in charge of retirement accounts and
Yes,
and the
yes, I
nation's
would.
retirement wealth? I think
Yeah,
that
I could
everyone
be
should
Bernie
be.
Madoff. Anybody could be Bernie Madoff,
Well, Bernie Madoff's a different story.
but they could be him, and that's why these rules are in place now. So
I like it. I like the
it makes
regulation in the
sense.
securities field, but we're jumping ahead. This is the Brett Owl. I said it was like season 1.5 because it was like, you know how a show I have that break in the middle.
That's a fact.
So
That's a fact.
this is the Brett Owl. I'm JFL Lee.
I'm finance king, man.
Man, we're here. We actually don't even have any show structure today. Like we're really just gonna just talk, catch up. I haven't talked to my bro about finance in a while. Like we have conversations obviously every day, but not in like a
Yeah,
not in like
not,
this arena.
yeah,
I kind of miss it. It was like therapeutic for me.
yeah. We had a lot going on, both of us.
Yeah.
Lee moved. Uh, I don't even know when the last time we recorded, but I got two kids now. Uh, we decided to do it outside partly because I got two kids and I need to keep an eye on them.
And it's a nice
So
day.
yeah, we sitting outside. They sleep, and we're just gonna rock out. Like I said, there's no outline today. We're gonna go off of the top. Um, whatever we discuss, and we're gonna bust it down from there.
Yeah, I'm excited though because like I think we talked about this yesterday. We talked about the Michael Burry play, right?
Yeah,
And him shorting Spy and QQQ.
yeah. So it's reported that he spent 1.6 to short the market, which is
Is that the cost of the trade or that's the value of the underlying
that's the
asset?
that's the value of the underlying assets. So he got 20,000 contracts on Spy, 20,000 on QQQ.
Uh,
But every contract holds 100 shares, so he really got 2 million shares in Spy, 2 million shares in QQQ. And so when you
mm,
do that math, it comes out to be 1.6 if he was to exercise those options. Obviously, he probably won't, but if he was to exercise those options, it will cost 1.6 to have
to
4
close
million
them
shares.
out, to close it.
Yeah, no, not to close them out. So in the contract, basically, it put is he got the right to sell, right? So he bought
Hmm.
puts, so he would have the right to sell, assuming he don't
At his strike price, right?
add strike price.
Okay.
Assuming he doesn't have the shares, he doesn't have 2 million shares of Spy and 2 million shares of QQQ. He would have to buy them, then sell them, right? And it
Mm.
will cost him to do that 1.6.
How do you feel about that trade? Because that's betting against the U.S. economy. Because QQQ and SPY are the barometers.
Right. So we don't know when he put it in. It was reported last week, but we don't know when he actually. That's when he had the report. We don't know when he opened the contracts. And
Hmm.
so a lot of people saying, I'm not gonna say a lot of people. I've seen some people saying that he's losing money because we've been on a tear. But it,
Let's clarify who Michael Burry is. Michael Burry is the guy who shorted the housing market, and the movie The Big Short
Right.
is based off of him.
Right.
So at the time when he shorted the housing market, which is where I'm familiar with him from, everyone thought he was
Insane.
insane because it's housing. No one thinks housing is going
Right.
to crash. 8 years later, we see
Crash.
housing can definitely crash.
Right.
So, what do you think about that trade?
I don't think so. Again, people are comparing everything he do, they compare it to The Big Short, right?
It's a different
And
environment.
So, yeah, and so The Big Short opportunity was for him to pretty much, he was already rich before that, but
Hey,
that was
he took a bet.
he took that was a home run bet, right? And it paid off. It was like a grand slam. But every trade isn't a grand slam.
No.
Right? And so they're thinking like, oh, okay, if he's shorting, it must be Armageddon. Now he's a hedge fund. That's what they
Well,
do.
that's their
That's a
business
prerogative.
model. Yeah.
We short or they short, right? And so just because he's shorted doesn't mean it's about to be Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? He could
days.
Yeah, he could make 10% and be good. But what I think about the trade, depending on when he put it on, let's say he put it on 3 weeks ago, that was the top of his swing. That was 450, 460. We down
500?
No, we're down to 430, 437. If I looked earlier, I think 437. I know we just hit 439 yesterday, pre-market or post-market. And so that's a 20-point swing for $20,000 contracts.
That's some good cheese.
That's some good cheese.
I mean, yeah. Me personally, I think he sees kind of what I see.
And what's that?
We talked about this yesterday too. Like, I think we're in a bubble. I think we're in a debt bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that rising inflation rates have created an environment where it's really hard for those who have got that cheap money.
Yeah.
But it was like cheap short-term money.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for them to get out of those scenarios.
Yeah.
Because the rates across the board
are so
high. So like, remember we talked about earlier in season 1, we talked about the office building.
Right.
And I said, yo, I think remote work is going to die because office buildings,
they needed to come back.
What I didn't factor in, since I've said that, is office buildings is a huge office to residential conversion happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is such a shortage. If it's a bunch of empty office buildings downtown,
why not turn them into apartments, right? Where there's a shortage.
Where there is a shortage. The issue is that all them funds that put their money in the office buildings aren't lenders don't invest in the asset; they invest for the cash flow.
Right.
If they're not getting
the cash flow,
it's interesting to see where we're at in today's.
Well, just a little economics, current events. Within the last 2 weeks, the Moody's, they lowered the credit rating on the United States.
I saw that.
That's happening.
Big.
That's big. The
BRICS is out here wilding.
BRICS is still wilding. Europe, not Europe. I'm trying to think which nation. One of the nations in Europe just paused rate hikes, while China just increased rate hikes.
Yeah, China's playing with everyone else's money.
Yeah, and so when you look at all of that data, the reason why they pause rate hikes is because they're on the brink of collapse. So
China?
No, Europe. So if they didn't pause, another rate hike probably could have sent them into a deep recession. And so they wanted to give that time to breathe. But that being said, if they on the brink of a recession and they have to pause, and then China's doing a rate hike, all of this is bearish sentiment in the market, and then we get a negative buy rating. I mean, a decrease on our credit rating. and then you got Michael Berry with the short, and then you have the housing, which
Housing's weird though. Housing's in a weird space.
yeah, it's detached, but
It's a
it's a
barometer though.
leader.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
leading indicator as
yeah.
well.
Housing's in a weird space because it's like, excuse me, Uncle Nearest, Black Homes. It's whiskey and wealth. That's what we're about here. Well, Hakeem
Yeah,
is wine and wealth,
yeah.
but
I'm just drinking sangria.
I'm in the high quality whiskeys. But I think the housing market is in a very weird space because we still had inventory issues,
Mm-hmm.
and we had inventory issues when money was cheap.
Now money's expensive.
Now money's more
Expensive.
expensive. It is pretty expensive. I'm not gonna lie.
Eight
It's
percent.
7.1, 7.3. I think was where I was at today.
Yeah. I mean,
That's crazy.
that is.
When you're coming from um when you're coming from a 2.5 to 3.5 environment for like the last 5 years, then
It feels insane.
bro, you know how hard it is to convince somebody that they should take a 7% mortgage.
I mean, I don't listen. I'm glad I got in where I
I was
got
about to say,
in.
imagine you had to buy this house with a
I don't know
with
if I
a
would.
with a 7%. You definitely would.
Yeah, I don't know if
You'd
I
be like,
would.
oh nah.
Yeah, why not wait? Right? Like everybody else is saying, why
But
not
the
wait?
problem with waiting is, and I asked this question on Threads: would you prefer expensive assets with cheap money,
Mm-hmm.
or cheap assets and expensive money?
Mm. I think I would take cheap assets and expensive money.
That's how I look at it too. I think you should still get the asset, even if the money's expensive, because interest rates are a cyclical
Yeah, and when they come
thing.
down,
When they come
the
down, you still got
appreciation
the
is going to go up.
assets, and your appreciation is still. That's the thing. The housing market is still appreciating. Properties aren't losing value.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody to buy.
Yeah, but even the people that are buying are still buying
Buying.
either at list, maybe sometimes depending on the location, it's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
above list, or it's
Well,
like
the demand is so high that if they don't buy that list, somebody else will. Because nobody's selling, so you don't have any new buyers.
I mean, if you refinance your house in the last 5 years, you have no reason to sell.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, you refinance prior to 2021,
Oh, that's what I mean. From the end of COVID back, let's go like
November 2021.
yeah, from COVID. If you refinance in COVID, you should never
That was
refinance.
zero, right? 0%.
The money from the Fed was at zero, but the rate I was given was like 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, why would you, right? To come up to get something for
6,
7?
7, like
No
no,
way.
not at all.
Even if you had an 800 credit score, you still
Bro, I
looking
did
at
a
like
refinance during COVID that the person, I'm gonna say the person is, but the person refinanced,
mm-hmm,
pulled cash out,
mm-hmm,
rolled their debt into the loan, into their mortgage, so
mm-hmm,
they used cash out to clear their personal debt,
mm-hmm.
and their mortgage payment was still cheaper than it was before I refinanced it.
That was during COVID,
That was
during the
during
end of
COVID.
COVID, or
Yeah,
a round ago.
I gave her a 2.2 interest rate.
Yeah, I mean, bruh, is stay put. If you have property, stay put. If
But
you can renovate it,
yeah, I would still buy though.
this is the time of the renovation. And if you have a lot of cash,
Or if you have cash, you should buy
if you have a
every
lot of
asset.
cash,
Yeah.
go ahead. Why not? But if you're looking to upgrade, like move from this house to another house, I mean, unless you're in probably South Florida.
Or I wouldn't do any principal resident upgrades. I would wait for that.
I mean, yeah, it depends on where you at. Like South Florida, probably every 3 years they market is like going crazy.
It is California,
You know,
crazy.
so
LA,
if
the
their
Bay.
appreciation makes sense,
Texas is taking a beating right now, though. That Austin, San Antonio,
yeah,
them markets, they're not keeping the gains that they had during COVID, which is surprising to me. But
right.
a lot of their,
What about San Francisco?
I mean, that's not going.
That's
That's not going nowhere. That's
right.
tech. Tech and yeah, tech is the driver of all
All
economics
the
there. It's kind of like
Northwest
this area, like government
government
funding
contracting. Yeah,
is the driver, the big economic driver, and IT
right.
are the two big
I
economic
wonder if
drivers.
people in San Francisco metropolitan area and Oakland, I don't want to forget Oakland, um, feel the same way that I personally feel about living here. Like, why would you ever move away from the money?
I 100% feel that
Like,
way.
why would you ever move away from the money?
I can't think of many places. Like I would go to LA, but I was talking to Soph about this yesterday. Like right now, LA, their biggest driver of economics is Hollywood,
Yeah,
and Hollywood is on
strike.
strike. So
So does it feel like a cloud over the city right now? A little
I
bit.
mean, when I asked her like how it's affecting everything, she's like everybody not working. And when I talk to my other clients that are out there, they're like
Nobody's working.
nobody's working. But here's how my real estate investor clients be like. They be like, yeah, but everybody's getting ready to sell their stuff because they need the money. So
Yeah,
you'll be able to get
stuff for cheap,
stuff for
land for
cheap.
cheap.
So I'm like, all right, it might not be, but I feel bad for the talent out there. You an AI guy?
So I haven't kept up. Again, we don't have any notes, so I haven't really kept up with the whole entire scheme of the strike. So is the strike solely because of AI?
Oh no, it strikes for a bunch of different reasons, from what I understand.
But one of the reasons is
One of the
AI.
reasons is they're trying to protect themselves from AI.
I agree, as they should. And to be honest, a strike right now might have been the best time to do it because if they would have waited another 6 months,
I think that
it doesn't
like, did
matter.
you know how HBO turned HBO Max into Max?
Right.
So I read somewhere, I don't know how true this is, but I read it somewhere that the reason why they did that is very diabolical. But if I'm like a CEO,
Uh-huh.
I understand it. But if I'm a
Uh,
writer or a talent,
yeah.
or I'm tight. HBO and HBO Max was a studio.
HBO and HBO Max
HBO Max was a product of the
of
studio.
the studio.
HBO
Oh, okay.
Max is a streaming service.
Right.
It's a completely separate thing.
So they dropped the HBO.
So they dropped the HBO,
separate.
just made it Max, so now it's separate, and they don't got to pay out
the licensing
the
fees.
licensing stuff for the
HBO.
standing contract with HBO.
Right. A genius.
From the business side.
Everybody's going to associate Max with HBO anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long it lasts. Kind of like what I've been telling you about the Cowboys. But we'll see how long it lasts.
We can have this conversation.
In 20 years, are people still going to say that's the old HBO Max? Nah.
No, because remember, do you even remember what it was called before it was HBO Max? It was like
HBO Plus or
HBO Now or something like that.
Yeah, HBO Now. It's kind of the same with UPN. And we go before UPN, it was WB. And then
what did it become? What did UPN become? The CW?
The CW. Like, who remembers that?
I don't.
Right?
Only show I remember on UPN was In the House with LL Cool J.
UPN had a lineup though.
Was Moesha on UPN?
I think Moesha. I think Smart Guy started off on UPN before it went to Disney. I think.
Man, UPN was a good channel.
Yeah, Family Matters I think came on UPN. That might have been TBS. Maybe I'm tripping.
It's some brothers really out here making moves now that like to talk about like cable and like Tyler Perry bought BET. That was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Magic Johnson and the Redskins.
Magic Johnson bought the Redskins. He owns a team in every
except for hockey. And he's been asked that, if the opportunity arises, would you purchase
complete the trifecta, complete the thing?
He said, yeah, he dropped a little hint. He said, yeah, I mean, if the Las Vegas Knights called, like I guess that's one of his teams that he got his eye on. But Let's see. Let's see if Magic
You think
Magic
we'll
do
get a
it.
basketball team in Vegas?
You definitely should get a basketball team in
I think we
Vegas.
should too,
Oh, this the
yo.
train. I think we outside. You gonna get this
We should
nation.
get a basketball team in Vegas. I want to go to Allegiant. I want to see the Raiders play in
Oh, I
Vegas.
definitely want to go to a league game. You know, the Raiders and the Ravens play. Was
Do
that this
they?
year or was that last
They
year?
played last year. I
Last
know
year.
that.
Okay. Okay. I think
Yeah,
the Raiders and the Falcons play,
I
and
want
Nick,
to. I
Nick
want.
said he was
I,
gonna go.
I want to. I want to go to a Raiders game, but that's the thing. Like, if you're Vegas, you don't care what the
Who
who's there.
comes?
Like,
It's
it's a
lit
packed house every
every
Sunday.
night. That's lit. I don't even have to be a Raiders fan to go. I just want to experience.
Pete, how long you think it's going to take for the Super Bowl goes to Vegas?
5 years max. Max. It's already in what SoFi, right? They already had it in
They did
SoFi.
SoFi. They've done San Francisco like 3 times. They've done Arizona mad times.
Who just recent stadiums, like recent new stadiums.
Allegiant's the newest stadium.
It's going there. It's going there. It has. I mean, like that's the perfect town for a Super Bowl. Can you imagine?
Imagine a Super Bowl in Vegas.
Can you imagine? I think
If
I
I'm
actually
Caesars, I'm bidding. If I'm MGM, I'm bidding like, yo, let's get together
and
get
bring
the
the
Super Bowl to
here.
Vegas.
Why not?
Like,
That's probably easy $3 billion in revenue for a week.
way more. Vegas?
You think so? Speaking of billions in cities, it just hit me. I want to talk about Taylor Swift and Beyonce and what their economic impact on these cities.
Beyonce's the greatest, bro.
500 million.
She's the greatest, bro.
You know, in the UK, in the UK, they said Taylor Swift, every city she touched in a night, she do like 1.1 billion or something for the traveling, the hotels.
I can't speak on Taylor Swift because I absolutely know nothing about her.
I know nothing, but I know that
I know she's a star.
Yeah,
but
it's a mega.
But what I do know is that Beyonce, she's the greatest.
She is the greatest, and Taylor Swift got her numbers doubled. That's wild.
Beyonce did.
That's wild to me. She did 550 in the night. That's her.
Yo, Beyonce's wilding though, bro.
Her revenue. 550 a night ain't nothing to sneeze at. But I'm not gonna say but because that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, that's not anything to say.
And
I think a lot of this is residual from COVID. The boy's wilding too, though. Drake is wilding.
I haven't heard, but maybe because
he set DC's gate record.
What is it? What was it?
He set Capital One's gate record. And I was talking to
21.
Yeah, I was talking to the homies, and I was talking about because we went to see DeVito's show, and which was a really good show. But I went to see Burner too, right, and Burner sold it completely out, top to bottom. DeVito's wasn't really sold out, but it said a lot because it's Afrobeats, right? It was just him. It wasn't
nobody else.
Did
Burner have anybody?
No, it was just Burner. But Burner
at the Capital One.
Yeah, sold out, top to bottom. But I was saying there's like maybe like 5 artists, maybe 10 artists in the world
that could do what?
That could sell out Capital One by themselves. Nobody else on the bill. I was like Drake, The Weeknd, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Bieber,
Chris Brown.
I don't know if Breezy could do it now. I want to believe that he could do it, but I don't know.
Usher.
I don't know if Usher can do it. Sell out top to bottom. I want to believe
Mary J.
I'm talking about by herself. I'm not talking about nobody else. I don't think Mary J can do it. Nah, bro. I'm telling you. Hove.
Yeah. Wayne? Nah.
Yo, that was the argument. The question came, can Wayne do it? And I was like, I want to believe that Wayne can do it, but
he can't do it.
The generational thing.
Because and his last tour was small. Yeah,
we went venues.
I got a name for you.
He was at the Fillmore.
I got a name for you.
Who?
Are you ready?
Who?
Yeezy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right.
Travis Scott, maybe.
Yeah, he ain't. What?
Travis Scott could probably
do anything in.
He hasn't done anything. I think these tour numbers.
Steve Aoki.
Oh yeah, that's in EDM.
Well, we sticking in. Okay. All right, I give you that.
Taylor can definitely do it. Beyonce. I mean, obviously Beyonce did 3 nights at stadiums, like football
Yeah.
stadiums. Um, Definitely Drake. I don't know if Drake's at stadium level though. You think he's at?
We're talking about Drake.
I know that sounds crazy, bro. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know.
We're talking about Aubrey Graham. You don't think he could do a stadium?
Not like B can.
Drake could pack out Summer Jam by himself.
I think Drake. Do I think Drake could sell out FedEx?
He could sell out Miami, whatever, Hard Rock.
You think he could sell out FedEx? He could definitely sell out Hard Rock. You think he could sell out FedEx though? FedEx is that's a big stadium, bro.
I think FedEx is small, but I think he could. It would probably I think
like, bro, Beyonce's gonna sell out the AT&T.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
get what I'm
wild.
saying? That's crazy.
That's wild. See, all right, so for me, I think in order for Drake to sell out something like that, it would have to be like a destination. Like the event is not just Tuesday.
Well, he sold out the Rose Bowl, but Yeezy was on that.
Yeah, I think Drake could do it, but for bigger stadiums, it would have to be like he can't put those on like Wednesday, Thursdays. It got to be a Friday, maybe 2 nights, like a Friday, Saturday, and make it a weekend where everybody know the destination and the reason why we here is to go to like Atlanta. Everybody knew if you went to Atlanta this weekend, the reason why you was here was for Beyonce.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think
they called it BTL.
BTL.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's fire.
Yeah, it is. And I think for Drake, I think he could do something like that if he planned it like that.
I just think that a lot of that is I think people want to be outside. So I think a lot of the revenue that you're seeing is from people wanting to be outside
for
from
COVID
residuals and all that.
To be honest, because I went to
how'd you like the show?
It was lit.
I went to see the last one and I was like, Beyonce's the greatest.
Lit. She ain't move.
It don't matter. She don't got
it was lit. It was lit.
It was a spectacle, right?
Yeah. Like it felt like.
Did it feel like she made the arena small?
Well, in stadiums when they put up the stuff, they don't even use the back third of the stadium. Yeah, so like AT&T she'll use because she'll be in the middle and they got the jumbotron, so the whole stadium can get used. But like a regular football stadium, when they put up the jumbotron, you can't sit in the back. So our seats was actually on the edge, and we didn't even get to see the monitors or anything, and it was still lit.
So I realized because I went when she came to M&T, right?
Right. That was on the run.
On the run, yeah. And I was like, yo, I've never seen an artist make a football stadium
feel small. It felt small.
I was like, yo,
it felt small.
This is some other.
Yeah.
This is a different level of optical illusion.
Did it feel like this to you than when it felt like to me? It felt like, and all right, so it was my daughter's birthday. That was the skate party, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that we weren't really thinking about Beyonce in the forefront of our mind. We didn't even have tickets. We actually was like, yo, Tuesday was like, yo, let's just go down there
and see if we can
get tickets. We ended up buying tickets as we paid for the parking before we bought the tickets. Right?
So a lot of people did that though.
So to preface that,
where'd you buy the tickets from?
SeatGeek, I think. So to preface that, right? When we got there, it still felt like a festival. Like I don't know about any other artist, but Beyonce is the only artist I know where everyone has a costume. Maybe Nicki Minaj.
I've never seen that. But for some reason, everyone was like, I'm getting dressed up in some Renaissance vibes.
Everybody was in silver. I'm looking at Tuesday like, did we miss the memo or something? I mean,
didn't even know.
Crazy. We on a pod, so I want to be respectful to everybody, but it was crazy out there.
I know it was crazy.
It was crazy.
I know it was crazy. I know it was crazy. And it's DC.
And it was crazy. I mean, like everybody had on aluminum and everything's showing.
But she puts on such a good show, yo.
Yeah, it was great.
I think Beyonce earned this though. Like if you've ever been to a Beyonce show, she's the greatest performer I've ever seen. So me seeing these revenue numbers, I do think a little bit of it is inflation. A little bit of it is people have been cooped up in the house. We haven't. This is our first summer really out without worrying about COVID residuals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing like that's why I was shocked. Like Made in America got canceled. Did you see that
this year?
Yeah.
Because of sales
I
or
don't know if it was because of sales. They said it's because of
because of what?
what they say, because of things out of our control. We'll be back next year. As you guys can see, that's called the dad perch.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
So your taco meat. All right.
But yeah, like I think we're in that everybody wants to be outside. Weather's been warm later in the summer.
Yeah.
Like, so I just think that is good, man. Like, if I was in the live entertainment business, I'd be trying to throw as many shows as I could right now.
But I heard, I glanced over a stat that really said concerts aren't it anymore. Like,
No, they're not. It's
more so
festivals.
festival
It's the
vibe,
festivals
yeah.
that's killing.
So
I don't think there's like 4 individual artists that can carry a tour
by themselves, no others.
by themselves.
I wonder why Drake added 21.
They got an album together.
But yeah, duh.
But if you look like Little Baby slow this tour down, Moneybag's got 30 people on this tour.
He has to though. Moneybag can't carry anything by itself.
But I'm just saying, like, now these festivals.
I do think CMG should do a tour.
Well, yeah, I do too. But
oh my gosh,
I would go.
Yeah, I would too.
I would definitely go. Gotti's new album is fire.
Big fire.
I put you on.
You did. Big fire. I like what he doing, and he talking a lot.
Talking business.
He talking a lot of business.
Like even was like, what he say? New Bugatti Chiron in my business name. I said, ooh.
He talking Gotti a lot of business on there. 40 million in the real estate.
You hear him tell the story on
about
not paying his property tax?
Yup. Big guys sold the store. Yeah.
I like that though.
We gotta pay our property tax, Gray.
You gotta pay your property tax.
It should be rolled into the mortgage, but
it is, but he paid cash, so there's no.
Oh yeah.
You got to pay that.
Ours is in the mortgage. We good.
I just think everyone should get a mortgage. That's just me personally. Paying cash for real estate.
I mean, a lot of people, a lot of rich, wealthy people, you know, they got the money to pay, but they still get a mortgage because they can make money on that. Like Hove and B, they bought that new mansion in LA.
Yeah, they bought it cash, but then they refinanced it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the play if you have cash, but.
And so why is that the play?
Because, all right, boom, you use your cash to buy the property. It's more of a tax play than an investment play.
Okay.
Right? So you can write off that purchase.
Right.
Especially if it's like your second or third house, you can write off that purchase. Then in like 90 days, you can refinance it and get 75 or 80%. Well, it's really 75% of your cash back. Right? But you would have had to do that at the table anyway, right? If you were going to get a mortgage, so you had to put down, 20, 25% down.
Yeah.
So then you take that cash out, it's technically not income. It's new debt.
Yeah.
So that money that you just got back for free, you can do whatever you want with it.
And make it make more money.
So you can go invest it in anything. And whatever profits you make, the principal investment isn't taxed.
So let me ask you a question. This is part personal. This is part business.
Okay.
So, and this is in all humbleness. So when I said I was going to buy this house cash, you told me no. Why we couldn't run that play? Or did you not know that?
At the time, I didn't know the details of that play.
Yeah.
And interest rates were so cheap at that time.
It didn't make sense.
It didn't really. Right. I would have preferred you keep. I think I told you this. Like, yo, your opportunity cost is a lot. What you can do with the money that you would spend on this cash is
way more.
Yeah.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? Right. And I think like when you bought your house, bro, you bought your house in January. If we would have had
we closed in December, but I moved.
Okay, so you bought it in December. If we would have waited 90 days, the interest rate environment it was very different.
It actually went up. from the time that
The time we did your application to the time I locked your rate, it went up.
I had to buy it down.
So exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
If we would have waited 90 days, and I kind of had a feeling about that, and I was like, there's no way
Right.
that they can leave interest rates the way they are. Unless they want everything in this country to be worth $1 million and the dollar mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, as we can see, exactly what I thought that they would do, they did.
Yeah.
I didn't think they was going to raise rates that
right?
fast, but that. Yo, what do you think is better, baby stretches or the stretch you get in the morning that make the room spin?
I like no, it's crazy. We oftentimes stretch at the same time.
You and him?
For some reason, yeah, we oftentimes stretch at the same time. Come on, man. All right. Yeah, we oftentimes stretch at the same time, like randomly. Just I don't know. I like
think
stretching.
I think babies have better stretches than us because they really get into it.
Yeah, he don't play by his stretches.
Like that stretch be.
He don't play.
What do you think about? This was actually shouts out to our sister Danielle. She's got a game called "Are You Ready for the Baby?" I saw you had it over there.
Yeah, I do have it actually.
What do you think? One of the questions that came up is, are your kids going to have to work and pay bills? Or
in the house?
Like in the house, yeah. And I was like, yo, it's only in Black culture that.
Nah, I mean, why would they have to pay bills to get an understanding of
that was the conversation. I was on live with her and Flo.
I mean, to get an understanding of finance, but is that the way that you want to do it? Like everybody don't have to learn. So it's really two ways that people learn, right? You learn through revelation and tribulation. Everybody don't have to learn by doing, you know. So
my answer was, and I don't have kids, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, you don't work this hard
for your kids to work. Right. That's kind of how I felt about it. But I was like, yo, if I make enough money to provide my kids with the life that I never had, right?
Right.
Me making them work teaches them, or me making them pay bills, not making them work. Me making them pay bills teaches them what, right? You get what I'm saying? I was like, yo, it's better that I allow them to work, teach them the importance of making your own money, and then show them
how to take care of that,
money, how to budget, how to, whatever. I saw Grant Cardone talk about what he does with his kids. I thought this was like ingenious, especially since we're fun guys. He was like, yo, I don't give my kids an allowance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I give them, they're on salary.
Yeah.
And we take their whole salary and invest it in the fund. And their allowance, quote unquote, is the dividends. And I was
genius.
Like, that's genius.
It's genius.
He's like, so I think their dividend is like, we started them at $30K a year. So we take that $30K, put it in Cardone Capital,
mm-hmm.
and then pay them their dividend off of that $30K.
Right.
So I think it's like $600 a month. He was like, so when my daughter wants to buy a sweater, and I go, how much is that sweater? She's like, $200. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do about it? It's like, oh, I want to take it out of my checking account.
Now she knows.
Because
she has real life experience of the money.
He was like, then when they asked me for a raise, like, what can I do to get a raise?
Yeah, add more money.
You got it. No, it's what do you want to do more for the company because you're on salary?
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
genius.
That is genius.
Genius.
Like, which takes me back to what you asked me yesterday. So I'm taking 2 courses, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever heard us talk about courses, but I'm not a big fan of courses
at
all. I actually think that maybe 85 to 90% of the courses in the marketplace are like scams almost. I don't want to, that's disrespectful. Maybe not scams, but they're not worth the money that they're charging us.
They don't give you the value that you believe is.
I'm big on like technical instruction, right? Or what you call it yesterday, institutional learning.
Yeah, I said so. Yeah. So institutional learning, like, from. You're not big on institutional learning, though.
I'm not, but I understand
the nuances.
There's certain nuances in the game that I'm playing that
you need to know that you need to.
Institutional learning will help me
Yeah.
fine tune it.
Right.
So I'm taking these online certification courses. I'm taking one at Cornell, it starts next month, and then I'm taking one at Coursera. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that that type of learning is the future of education?
No.
You think it's still always going to be a place for like college degrees?
No. I think it's LinkedIn. I think it's Google search, LinkedIn search. Coursera, if they could, I don't know if they're doing this, but if they could develop their own courses,
You can get a degree
and
from Coursera.
yeah. So, but it still comes from an institution,
It does.
and I don't think institutions will die out anytime in our lifetime. I might not think that they'll die out ever, but in our lifetime, there'll definitely still be institutions. But I do think the vast majority, the majority, not vast majority, will migrate to. I won't even say majority. Market share. The market share will grow towards Google search. Um, what I say, LinkedIn,
So like those
things that have
digital
trades.
certs
Yeah,
that
because
are
it
applicable.
applies to trades.
Yeah.
It applies to specific skill sets, like a lot of coding. You can get coding certs and then go start a career. You don't have to go to
But see, I
college.
think like coding, Scrum, project management.
What is Scrum? Please, if you know, tell me, because I've seen this on 3 people's LinkedIn's that I
Three,
personally know,
yo,
and I
they
just
make a killing on
it's,
Scrum.
I
So
don't know what a Scrum Master
Scrum is like
is.
task management, project management. It's a style that these companies use. They hire a Scrum Master to disseminate information and tasks to each team. So it's
That's it.
I don't want to say that's it
That's
because
it, right. But that's the gist of it.
that's the gist
I
of
should
it.
be a Scrum Master because that's my thing.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. My mom asked me about it the other day. Like, you don't think you should get a Scrum thing? I said, "Ma, it's too late in my life to start a new career or anything."
I'm gonna look into it.
But we know a lot of Scrum Masters.
I seen
We know a whole lot.
Like bros.
Yeah, like our homies.
Yeah, and I seen them on LinkedIn and it said Scrum Master, and I'm like, bro, I seen about 4 of them.
Yeah, they make really good money.
And like, what is a Scrum
They be having like
Master?
5 jobs.
I'm gonna look into it.
They make a killing.
I know
some Scrum guys that make like 300, 400,000.
I might be finance king the Scrum Master.
Yo, bro.
Why not?
I'm not saying no.
I gotta report that to the U4.
But you're gonna have to report that, right?
I gotta report.
They're probably not gonna let you do it.
Listen, man.
That Scrum thing is serious, man. But though the job market in it is very saturated, and it's contract work. It's not salaried.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is. I can't.
But I know some project management guys that are.
I can't speak to it.
Making high 6 figures doing that.
So it's just project management.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Okay.
But I don't.
We don't know.
I don't. From what I gathered from it, it's project management specifically in the tech sector. During COVID, when everybody was remote working, the Scrum guys were. It was better than PPP, bro. All my guys who were getting
everybody
Scrum
was a Scrum Master.
Oh my gosh! Everybody I knew with Scrum was getting new money. They had new. Yo.
Where was I?
That's what I said. I said, when did I miss the Scrum wave?
I missed the Scrum wave. I bet somebody in these new houses is Scrums.
Bro, listen. I'm a real estate cat, so I ain't really. My mom was like, "Are you sure it sounds like good, bro?" I said, "Mom, listen. I just spent the last 6 years of my life
looking this up,
figuring this game out. I don't even have the mental capacity to try anything else right now."
You need certs to be a Scrum Master?
Yeah.
Man, okay. I'm gonna look it up.
You need certs.
I ain't got no more certs.
I know guys with master's degrees in project management.
Yeah,
you got like you've heard of the PMP, right?
Nope.
PMP is a cert like an MBA
for project management.
For project management, it's like the MBA for project management.
See, back in our day, that used to be what the 66, the Series 7.
Series 7.
Series
it was
7,
CFA.
not Series. Sigma. Six
Sigma,
Sigma,
yeah,
Six Sigma,
Sigma,
Six
yeah,
Sigma.
Six
Yeah,
Sigma. So it's like PMP is like that. It's like the chartered financial,
right.
all of that. Like
Okay.
all of those certs that you have, CCIM, PMP is you put it at the end of your signature.
I'm
They'd be
a
like, it'd be like Hakeem blank, right? Because I ain't gonna say your
PMP.
last PMP, CHFA, CFA.
Yo, yeah, nah. I got no more. If I thought I could just apply,
You probably won't get hired. You could definitely apply,
I'm gonna
but
say I got mad Trello experience.
nah, it's more like Google
I could take a Google
Enterprise.
cert. What you
Like,
gonna do, buddy? I could take a Google cert, but I got no more
bro,
testing, bro.
I have no more tests. The next 3 tests I'm doing is 65 CCIM, which is a commercial real estate cert. Honestly, that's probably it. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe if I got to get like some investment banking certs, but
Yeah,
if it ain't in this game,
it ain't for me.
it ain't for me. It,
Nah, I respect it.
like, cause this, like, bro, think about the stuff we gotta learn, bro. It's
My mind hurts. I already know.
my brain be. Some days I just go, I'm not thinking today.
Yeah, nah. Like
like,
I got no more than what I got.
I'm surprised you haven't started playing video games again.
I made a promise,
I know, but I'm surprised
but I've been thinking about it.
because some days
You just need the
I just
mental
be like, I
therapy,
just need to
bro. You
unplug
just
from.
need to like. This is stressful.
And then you got him, win. Like,
This is stressful.
I don't know, man, but that, like, I don't know. I think, what do you think is more valuable, like the courses or mentorship?
I
But I thought about
mean,
the question you asked me yesterday too.
it's just for me. I think it just all depends on how you learn. So I'm somebody where if I could, for example, we talking math, if I could see how you write the formula, and then I could write it step by step with you writing it, whether it's you in person or as a mentor or you on the course,
Mm-hmm.
and we come up with the same answer, I'm good.
My beef with courses is I feel like I don't get that.
You
I don't
don't,
get how you got the
right?
formula.
You just get the
Just get there, like, yeah, it's just
this what it is. This how you do
this
it.
is how you do it. You go out and
Yeah,
get business credit. You go buy a property,
right. But they don't
and I feel like that advice was very COVID
vague.
specific. Like, bro, why would you go out and get more debt right now? Debt is absurdly expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I think mentorship is great. Like obviously, for my firm, you know what I'm saying, I got mentors
And in
in my
house though, right?
practice. Yeah, but anyhow, yeah. But you're going, you're on it. You're up, huh?
Yeah, he's
So yeah,
awake.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm at the point where I think all education, is good education as long as you can cipher through it and pick out what you need to pick out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you'll get information out of this Coursera or Cornell,
Oh, I
Coursera,
definitely think I'm getting the
whatever.
info at it. But
I
Cornell,
don't
I have to pay for. Coursera is free.
I don't think you're going to get everything that you're looking for
I
probably,
don't. I
but
don't think so. I never get what I'm looking for
what's
ever.
up, man? Can I have my hat?
When I be looking for someone to be like, yeah, so
We got this house on
this is how you do it. and I was talking to my pop. I was like, yo, like I'm trying to play this game at like, I think I told you this the other day. Like I'm trying to play this game at like LeBron Jordan level.
Yeah.
And so
Where would you say you're at right now? Jordan Poole?
no, because
Not even.
he's at least in the league.
Oh, the guy on Instagram who just got free 20 grand to go to the G League.
I'm probably like an Instagram influencer trying to get
J. Cole,
in the league. Like
1990s Master P.
yeah, like I got game, but I ain't in the league.
Okay.
I ain't playing for one of the blue chip franchises. You get what I'm saying? But
Right.
when I see these cats in the pro am,
You give him 30.
I give them 30. But I'm like Frank Nitti.
Okay.
Like that.
Respect it.
I'm respected. The Hoopers know.
Yeah.
Right?
Real.
People who do this business know I'm good at what I do, but
right. But you trying
I'm
to
trying to be
cover Sports
yeah,
Illustrated.
you feel what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to have the private equity guys be like, yeah, we need to
Holla at him.
holler at him. I'm trying to get the developers who build like a Ryan Holmes development. Like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
we need to give this guy an exclusive, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't, you know, it is not lost on me. Like I didn't take the traditional route.
Right.
So my route is a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Like I'm the kid that left high school, went to overseas.
Brandon Jennings.
Brandon Jennings, I'm playing ball overseas. Somebody overseas is like, hey, this guy can hoop.
Right.
Let's give him a shot in the league. That kind of thing. Like,
Shit. Well, if that's the case, then I'm definitely probably J. Cole. A whole career.
oh, a whole career switch.
And just want to,
yeah,
just want to come through.
You a boxer trying to do MMA?
Nah, they don't got good success. I'm like Will Smith. I'm trying to be Will Smith. I got my Grammys and
oh, you try to go get
and then cross over.
You try to get your acting money on.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I'm trying to do. So
I was so
right now
shocked.
I'm probably Method Man.
Oh shit. Method Man's not a bad actor.
Method Man. All right. Yeah, I'll say Method Man. I ain't gonna clown him. I ain't gonna clown him.
Method Man's not a bad.
My next name was Ice-T.
No, and you know I'm a child of the Wu, so I can't let you.
Yeah, I give myself Method Man. You know,
Method Man's not a bad actor, but he is in the early stages
of his transition,
of his acting transition.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, like, but again, who's this? Like, bro, like this game is.
But it's the long game.
Yeah, like that's what I was telling my pop this. I was like, yo, the thing about real estate and like the level I'm trying to play it is we don't age the way you do in like entertainment or sports or stuff like that. Like I actually am an infant age wise. Like the guys who run this game are like 65.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? They're like 70 years old.
Robert Smiths,
the Grant Cardone's, even Grant Cardone is 60. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys have had time to that their investments can mature. Because think about it, like
you need 30 years at least invested. At least,
right? Like I'm 10 years into this. Yeah. People look at me like 10 years. You just made it through one cycle.
Right.
Technically, I'm at the end of my first real estate cycle. Right? Because when I got in the game was right after the crash.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had low interest rates, free money. Yep. Everybody's fixing, flipping. There's an abundance of inventory.
You've seen it all.
I've seen it. I've seen. Around. Now I'm coming to no inventory, expensive money.
Right.
And, you know, this is really where remember you told me like, yo, it's a lot of mortgage guys coming over to financial services. And I'm like, yeah, that's because it's easy.
Can't cut it.
It's easy to sell money when it's 2%.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do anything. But to be available and understand how to help someone through a deal when the interest rate is so high that you have to explain to them like, yeah, listen, I know this interest rate is 10%, but we're going to be able to refinance, hopefully. That's the key thing you have to say is hopefully. But we're able to, you have to have somebody that knows how to use debt. And most guys don't take that time. They just like
to learn about the product that they're selling.
Yeah, like me, I love the art of this thing, right? Remember we used to talk about there's a difference between the art and the business or something?
Right.
The business of selling money is the business of selling money. Money's like the easiest thing to sell, period. Facts. But understanding the metrics around it and how to get people money that doesn't leave them broke.
And that is what you have the idea that institutional.
Yeah, I think institutional is going to help me analyze the money at a different level, right? Because, and we talk about this, like the way the money game is. I'm gonna get y'all some science today. I said I wasn't gonna do it, but I can't help myself.
Let's do it.
All right. So when you look at how money works in this country, right? The Fed lends money to the banks, right? The banks have deposits. The Fed lends them money at a multiple of their deposits so that they can lend more money out into the marketplace.
It's like margin.
Like margin, right? Now, if I'm XYZ Bank and I only do mortgages, right? I don't just for example purposes, I only sell mortgages. When I lend you 96% of the house you want to buy on a 30-year mortgage, maybe let's say 8 times out of 10, I'm using the Fed's money,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not using your deposits. I'm using the Fed's money. Chances are your deposits are in bonds.
Right.
So I'm using the Fed's money to lend the money for you to buy your house out, right? At whatever interest rate the increase that the Fed charged me. Today, what's the Fed? What's the FOMC? I think it's like 4.5.
The funds rate?
Yeah, the funds rate is like 4.5 right now.
Nah. I think it's like 5.5.
All right, let's say it's 5.5. All right, damn, it went up a point. I just want to
Yeah.
check that it was like 4.5. But all right, let's say it's 5.5. Most most lenders are going to add 2 to 3 points on top of that, right? So, boom, you got interest. If it's at 5.5, we're definitely going to see 8% mortgage rates.
Yeah. I mean, I thought 8% was already here.
I'll check. We don't even have to guess. I'll check. But what I'm saying is the Fed's fund rate today is I'm gonna tell you right now. It's at 5.5. Yeah, you're right.
Ding.
So
I do my study.
So the Fed's fund rate is 5.5. Now, if you're lending money off of that 5.5, that's the rate that the Fed wants their return.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying your mortgage every month at whatever interest rate you got locked in for 30 years, right?
Right.
You're paying the bank back that money.
Right.
What do we pay the Fed back? We pay that through taxes.
Yeah.
So all that money that the Fed lent to the U.S. government, we're paying like triple interest on the money that we use in the economy.
And so what you're saying is that the banks get about three times free money.
Not always, because sometimes the Fed is lending money directly to the government.
Right.
Right. But the government repays the Fed
through
bonds and taxes.
Yeah.
Now, if you're doing FHA, conventional, or VA,
mm-hmm.
those loans are insured by the government.
Right.
So if you default, the government pays. Worse than that, Fannie and Freddie are pseudo government agents. They're funded through the government. So the bank takes their Federal Reserve money,
mm-hmm.
writes you a 30-year mortgage. In a year, they then sell the mortgage to Fannie or Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
Fannie or Freddie goes, we'll buy it from you so that you have more money to lend.
Dude, right.
Right? Now, Freddie and Fannie have this income, but Freddie and Fannie got their money from the U.S. government.
Right.
So you're paying interest on your loan to Freddie and Fannie or whatever bank is servicing your loan. But Freddie and Fannie is repaying, they may repay with some of your interest money, or the government is paying with your tax money. So you're paying double, you're getting taxed twice, interest and taxes. And you're getting taxed on property,
mm-hmm.
income, sales.
Yep.
What other taxes are there? Inheritance.
Everything.
Anytime
money transfer.
Money translates. There's a tax on it.
So because of that, right? If we break it down like that, and then we come over to my industry, the fact that a bank fails,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
And that's why the outrage is where it's at, because you had the nerve to put your money in alternative bonds and crypto and stuff like that.
You don't even have to. This is my beef with. This is when we were talking about Signature. Was it Signature or what bank was it that?
SVB,
right?
Yeah, Silicon Valley.
This was my beef with them.
One of them.
You didn't have to. First Republic didn't deserve to fail. I'll be honest.
Well,
but because they write a lot of commercial mortgages, they didn't deserve to fail. But you didn't have to invest in crypto. Actually, banks shouldn't fucking invest in crypto. Excuse my language, but banks shouldn't invest in crypto
at all.
Like, banks should not be involved. That is,
JPM got a substantial
Jamie's my boy though,
Also,
so Jamie Dimon's my guy.
he did his thing with that crypto.
But he's smart though, because he
plug.
told everyone, "Yo, this is dangerous. This is risky. We
Pull-
gonna
don't do it.
But
Pull your money, and then when it falls,
he cops up. I'm
months
not
later,
mad. That's
the-
the game.
propaganda.
Yeah, that's the game. But also, JPM is too big to fail.
Way too big.
So they're the largest holder of deposits in the world.
Yeah, and if they fail, the world is on the brink of collapse.
It is, and it's not just going to be the U.S. government that bails them out. It's going to be
The world.
England.
They have to, because JPM money is not just
Yeah,
it's not just inside of the states. It's in the It's in the world.
I just think that I also stand by we should never reward incompetence, right? I think if you're a bank manager and your bank fails, you should be barred.
Unless you're First Republic.
No, because SVP's CIO
Got a new job.
Was at Lehman.
Yeah.
And then went there, and then
it failed. And now he's
somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else. I can't remember, but he's got a new
job. I don't get how we reward that. Like, at what point does
it's like failed head coaches?
Yeah, but we know the NFL is a good old boy. That's my homie. I'm gonna hire him. As much as I love Nathaniel Hackett being on the Jets, he's a failed head coach.
Yeah. And so
but his man's is the head coach.
So you don't think the financial sector is the same way,
bro?
Similar way?
All right, hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm CIO of whatever realty trust,
mm-hmm.
right? You're head of a hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
My realty trust fails. You, my brother. You giving me a job?
We're gonna have a sit down.
I know you in real life. You're gonna look at me like
we're gonna have a sit down.
What the?
We're gonna have a sit down. Yeah, we're gonna have a sit down. And maybe it's a tight leash, but to say that I'm gonna leave you out to dry, maybe you get a smaller.
You have a fiduciary duty to not hire me.
No, I don't.
You do though.
I got a fiduciary
responsibility. You got XYZ pension money.
What if maybe it's not the right fit? Maybe you didn't have the right fit. Maybe you didn't have the knowledge.
So you're saying I was in a bad system?
It could have been. I mean, look, John Gruden got everything. Chip Kelly got everything, and still messed up. And you see, they're no longer in the league. But like you said, Nathaniel Hackett. What's my man from the Bears who was just trash, bad?
Even your boys, what's it, Sirianni? Is Sirianni your boy?
Yeah, but he never failed. Don't come at my boy.
My fault.
Super Bowl in the first 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Or the boy wonder, McVay.
But McVay never failed either.
Last year was a little shaky.
That's not a fail. He didn't get fired. He had multiple injuries.
I don't think he's gonna get fired. I actually think his Super Bowl, he's good.
See, yeah, he's good. He's good. But in that sense, if we're talking the finance sense, those people have relationships, and they may have failed one time and it blew up, but there's a lot of good that they did during their tenure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bash SVB because I also think that they fell victim to circumstance.
Well, very avoidable circumstance, but it's just I would say this.
The bond thing, I think really.
I think now hindsight 2020. I think I can give him this. His intentions
were to protect
to make a whole bunch of money and protect what his risk. His risk, right? He didn't have enough knowledge.
Or I feel like someone in that position is supposed to have foresight. You're supposed to know
that the bond market is
going to.
Or maybe he did and he thought he could hold out.
Well, it didn't help that Peter Thiel told everyone to pull their money. That was a big thing.
Yeah, and so that started the bank run.
But Peter Thiel's not wrong for telling them to pull their money. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm Peter Thiel, the godfather of tech and venture capital,
right,
and I look at a bank where that holds 10 or 15 of my investments,
my guys
holds their money, and I'm looking at the bank like, yo,
and it's shaky.
These cats got mad bonds right now. The
Bond market is
the
shaky,
bond
but
market is about to go to.
and they can't dump it because they already at a loss.
Hold on, hey yo, y'all need to
Y'all need to get about
y'all
it.
need to get up out of there.
Right.
So it's I think they're like I said, I think they're victims of circumstance. Like
So last week, maybe earlier this week, I text you a play, an opportunity, right? And I just want to talk about it, conversational talk about it,
talking about
about
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yeah.
Okay.
So in real life, not the play that I text you, but in real life, how do we see? So okay, I'll do this.
We know we
So
can't talk about the play.
no, yeah, we're not going to talk about the play, but I want to talk about the real life Home Depot scenario, right? Because 2020, obviously, Home Depot was top of the world. Everybody was fixing up their house.
And then
Everybody
COVID happened.
was they actually built Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
Obviously Arthur Blank, but they do that. They top of the world, and then rate hikes start coming in. A lot of the market is going down, so their stock is going down. Revenue is going down. Um, New home purchases are at a stalemate. They're not really decreasing, but
Well, new construction.
new construction. Yeah. So they're at a stalemate, but how do y'all classify resold or previously owned homes are dramatically just dropped off, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the sales from Home Depot came from renovations for
redos,
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's starting to be an uptick again. The Fed has announced that there may be a pause coming soon on rate hikes.
What did CPI close at for July?
CPI was at 3.0 or 3.1. It's 3.0. I think
when we started the bread hour, we was at 7.5.
Yeah, we was.
Shout out to my guy.
Who's your guy?
Jerome, man.
Oh, Jerome. Yo, he really walked us through and
told us exactly what was going to happen.
He tightrope this thing, and we so far we've avoided
drastic
recession. Yeah. So kudos to Jerome for that. Definitely. But excuse me. But my question to you is, where do you see home renovations going? And then on top of that, how does it affect Home Depot?
So, I mean, you live in a relatively new community.
Yeah.
You see anything being built around here?
Nah, actually, let me tell y'all something, because I'm about to go to HOA. So the reason why we moved in this new community is because it's supposed to be built on a piece of land that is supposed to be residential and commercial.
So y'all were supposed to get mixed use across the street, right?
Mixed use across the street,
and
retail stores, everything. The only thing that's been built outside of these houses are sidewalks, and I'm being dead serious.
The reason is home purchase rates are up.
Right. New home or
period.
Okay.
So home mortgages are up, right? So people can afford less house.
Right.
So I'm gonna do top down. So if the end buyer of a house you build can afford less because wages haven't gone up, right? The interest rates have gone up. Now, if I'm a home builder and I have to finance each build, my interest rate is gone up. So my cost of the build has gone up. So if it costs me more to build, I have to sell it for more. But if the person that I normally sell to can't afford it,
it sits.
And now I have debt service over and over and over again. So for a supply company to 9 times out of 10, they're making bulk corporate orders from Home Depot or one of these companies, Lowe's, whatever.
Lumber, 84 Lumber.
They're And those types of orders are done on net 60s.
Right.
So they're financed too. So if I can't sell the house, why would I build it? So if I don't build it, why would I buy the material?
Right.
So if you're Home Depot, you don't got nobody to sell the material to. You take a hit. In the same token, home renovations are normally done. I would say there's 2 or 3 types of home renovations. There's the renovation of, I want to add something to my house.
That was the COVID. A lot of people added home office space, pools, different things.
That kind of thing. Also because HELOC money, home equity money, they were seeing drastic growth in property value, but they didn't want to sell their house. So they either did a new 30-year cash out where I'm getting money cash back,
or a line of credit.
Or I'm getting a line of credit. Right?
I've been studying.
Now, today's environment, very different, because I'm not refinancing nothing if I just refinanced my house
a couple years ago. Right.
And I'm not selling if I just refinanced my house a couple years ago.
Right.
So if I refinanced my house and didn't do any renovations, but the property value of my house increased without me doing any.
So why do it?
Why would I do a renovation?
Right.
So that's buyer 1. Right. That's a user 1 of Home Depot. User 2 is rehabber, fix and flipper, person who's doing these types of things. They're still doing business, but the money's more expensive. So you're not going to get as much. But everybody ain't fixing and flipping. Everybody ain't fixing and renting up.
Right.
You see pull back from that. And I would say the third person is developers. And unless a developer already had a project or they're doing luxury development.
Yeah.
Ryan Homes has 3 neighborhoods in a 5-mile radius or in a 10-mile radius.
Yes, they do.
You get what I'm saying?
Not even.
They got this.
They got the one by Target.
The one.
And wherever you about to say.
The one by Wawa.
The one by Wawa. Which Wawa?
The one off of
197?
197. There's a community.
Right over
One of my cousins live over there.
Okay.
And that's Ryan and NVR, and they're sold out. That was the first. They did it before they did yours. Now, look, that one's done, sold out. They did that one during COVID, pre-COVID, COVID.
Yeah.
It's done. Now, they have yours and the one by Target.
And they got the one by Maple Lawn.
Neither one of those have even started phases 3.
Because why buy if we can't sell?
Why buy if we can't sell? Why build if we can't sell?
Right.
So while your property still may appreciate in value, it ain't at the rate it was when you bought
2020.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you'll still get a bump. Like I've even told you, your neighborhood is now in a neighborhood where we're at 2nd and 3rd owners.
Yeah. I mean, you walk around, you see about 2, 3, maybe 4 for sale signs. And, I'm closing in on 2 years, and I'm thinking like,
should I be getting out?
Nah, I'm just thinking maybe because I'm a first-time home buyer, but I was thinking like, why would people sell? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would, if I had to bet, Braylon.
But I've also thought, as the business mind, if it appreciated, there's been people who got in way before me.
Yeah, who probably is like, yo, I don't know.
I might be up 100.
Maybe 100.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they was up 150, and then it came down a little bit or whatever. But
I promise you, if phases 3, because you're phase 2.
I was phase. I was at the end.
Phase 1.
I think of phase 1, like the last couple houses.
So if phase 2 and phase 3 are completed by now, you're probably up 100, 150.
Man, I need to get these developers, man. I'm trying to be up 100, 150.
You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, that's
because that 100, 150 plus what what we did, that turns into the house that we want. So
exactly. And what I'm saying is it's like, unfortunately, it's the environment. But I mean, look, it's
gonna get back.
We'll get back. You know what I mean? He told us they're freezing. The next 2 or is it the last 2?
Yeah. So after this one, then maybe It's on. It's not confirmed, so I don't want to speak to you and say it's confirmed or to y'all. But there's probably one more in September, and then it's on the table for another one towards November. But if you look at the percentages on that, it's less than 20% that we get another hike. And then the percentage that there will be the pause, like what month does the pause start? The highest is May. So maybe we get a pause. Maybe you get an increase in September.
I
Some
bet if
judgment.
they pause it and inflation goes back up,
That's his thing.
we're back.
He doesn't he doesn't mind pausing, but the way that because June CPI came in higher, or July CPI came in higher than June's, and so even though it's going down year over year, month over month, it's going up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I told you, you know where I stand on them. Tax them. We gotta get this down.
But if you tax them like that, then we go into a recession. So
Sometimes
he's trying to.
but remember the COVID caused the market to never get the reset.
Right.
The market needs to reset. The money needs to reset, bro.
Right.
And if it doesn't reset,
and to bring this full circle, maybe this right now is what Michael Burry is seeing.
I believe it because look, consumer debt all time high, housing prices all time high.
Yeah.
Uh,
U.S. debt all time high.
U.S. debt all time high. What is it? Damn, why am I drawing a blank? Car loans all time high. Credit and car defaults are at an all time high. Right?
Credit loans or credit loans.
Credit cards
all time high.
Like our overall debt as a citizenship is at astronomical levels.
Yeah.
It's because they gave us all this free money, bro. Even all right, look, let's take it even deeper. Crime is at a high right now.
Because of the money.
Because of the money. The streets are starving.
Yeah.
Right? Like I seen a video, man, of one of my guys at the ATM
getting robbed.
I mean, we thank God his reaction time, he was prepared and was able to get away, but he's at the ATM pulling out cash, somebody runs down on him.
Right.
And I'm thinking in my mind, like, we're 2A supporters, right? So I'm thinking in my mind, like, dang, I probably would have called a homicide there. Like, albeit defense, somebody run down on me, gun out. I'm not asking no questions.
Right.
Like,
because you don't.
I'm well within my rights to protect myself. You run on me, gun out. Exactly. Where's all your money?
Exactly. I mean, I think only thing I could do, man, is continue watching the charts.
Bro, look at what the market did when PPP came, when ERTC
it skyrocketed.
Look when it skyrocketed. When unemployment was at where it's at. Like, look at what the market was doing.
I'm gonna tell you this: if we ever see, we will, because there's cycles. The next time we see this, I'll be fully prepared, and I'll know what to do.
Oh, the next time we do this, I'm gonna make $100 million.
Yeah, I remember the actual date.
March. You're talking day of crash?
No, not day of COVID. I remember the actual date that after we bounced from COVID and we was on that super nasty bubble.
Did you participate at all
in the run?
Yeah.
Yeah. We made money off the run.
I made money off of like GameStop, and
we made money off the run, but I remember the downside when we went into the bear market. I remember the actual day, and I remember what caused that. And so from now on, whenever I see that again, I know it's game on. Whenever he said, he didn't even raise rates. Jerome Powell came out and said, yeah, we're going to consider raising rates, and boom, that started the bear market. And then I went back and looked at the data. Every time rates are raised, stock market drops. And then there's a pause. The stock market rallies like we just did, and then we base out. And then when the rates start dropping, stock market goes crazy. So either we'll rally between 450, 460, and 430 to 415-ish, like just rally around there between.
SPY was at like 520 during COVID.
479, I think, was the highest
of COVID.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Bro, I
I
just
was.
remember making so much money on
It
GameStop,
was so much
and I
bottle
don't.
popping.
Like,
It was just
I
so
just
much bottle
remember,
pop every Wednesday. Oh, Spy running. We at Euphoria, baby.
bro. I just remember making so much money during. I was trading currencies at that time. US. I was shorting the. What was I short? I was shorting the euro because
Yeah,
Brexit was coming, or Brexit had just happened. I was making
bro.
so much money.
And so when this happened again, just know how like you've already seen it, so you know exactly
But
how
this is
to.
how I feel about the real estate market. Remember, I got in the real estate market at the end of 2008, where the right after the subprime mortgage crash, and I'm like, I spent like my first year in the mortgage business or in the real estate business studying why the market crashed.
Right.
And I was like, oh, they was giving away bad mortgages. We don't give away bad mortgages anymore, but I will say I do see an uptick in what they call non-QM or non-qualified mortgages.
Them
The-
single A rated.
yeah, like the mortgages that like the government's not going to buy, but
You seeing an uptick in those?
oh my god,
Huge uptick.
yes.
Is it time that we start doing our research?
I would say
Where does it? Where?
it's almost there for you to start paying attention to what banks have in non-QM holdings
Right.
because they can only sell it to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So
some banks are buying a lot of these swaps
yeah,
and stacking up more
Yeah.
non-QM holdings,
yeah. Because
like First Republic.
a non-QM mortgage is essentially a mortgage that Fannie or Freddie won't buy.
Right. It's not government.
It's
Oh,
not.
no.
It's not government qualified. So, like if you had to use 1099 income
Right.
solely,
Right.
and you asked me to do it that way, I put you in the 1099 program. That's
But that's non-QM.
That's non-QM. Or y'all want to buy this in my LLC?
Non-QM.
Non-QM.
So is this uptick? Mike got number 2 up. Is this uptick because of a pop up of the gig economy, or
Yes, I will say the gig economy is a big thing. People like scrums who are on
Yeah.
1099s but make a lot of money.
Right.
But it's hard to prove that qualify that income because you know this, Chip.
Yes, sir.
You know this, like
Get your last words in.
when you can't verify the income, it changes how much house you can afford.
Right.
So, whereas we use your 1099, we use a 1099 where we might use the top number. On a QM mortgage, we'll use the bottom number. So my niece Winter is awake now. So the bread aisle, this episode is done. But thank you for joining us. This was just some outside whiskey, wine, and wealth talk. And, we'll be back next week because we're recording next week. Ain't that right, Graylin?
Yes, sir.
We're recording next week. We're going to have structure. We just wanted to talk to y'all. I'm JFL Lee.
I'm Finance King.
This is the bread aisle.
See you on the other side. Disclaimer. The information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial advice. Investing involves risk, and you should always do your own research and seek the advice of a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision. The speakers do not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or reliability of any information discussed on this podcast. You agree that the speakers will not be liable for any investment decisions made based off the information provided on this podcast.